Hello, my name is Phyllis Natasha Brandon, and today we are filming a documentary on my brother's behalf. His name is Campbell. He was murdered on April the 25th, 2011, down in Tallahassee, Florida, and today we tell his story.
My name is Harry L. Campbell. I'm the father of the late Kevin Campbell, who was our second son. Kevin was very impressionable. He loved to smile. He loved to dance. He was an elite basketball player in his own right. As he reached adulthood and married, he was a great father. He loved children. He loved life in general. But his greatest talent, I believe, was as a barber. He loved cosmetology, and he could cut hair and draw designs in people's hair. Yeah, he could draw the Dallas Cowboys emblem in your head without a pattern, a star, or even the Buccaneers. He was just that gifted with his clippers and his ability as a barber. On the night of April 25th, 2011, we received a call that our son was sick and we needed to come see about it. My wife and my daughter and I, we drove down to Tallahassee as quickly as we could and arrived at the hospital to discover that my son was deceased. The head nurse told her to have us wait. She would be out. And we waited. And about 10 minutes later, the head nurse came out and told us to have a seat in this office off to the right, and that the doctors would be out in a few minutes to explain to us the condition of our son. Well, we sit there for about 45 minutes and no doctors ever showed up. But instead, two plainclothes police officers arrived and began to question us and interrogate us as though we were involved in what had happened. Well, they said, "We're sorry for your loss, but he died in police custody tonight, and his body's a crime scene. You can't see him. We're going to do an autopsy tomorrow morning. We'll have some more answers for you." Well, we refused to see our son. No one could give us any facts concerning how our son died in police custody. The next day, it's about 4 in the morning, we went over to his residence where he had lived, and the people were waiting up to tell us what happened to our son. And they began to recount the situation, how he was running up and down the stairs as if though someone was chasing him. But one elderly lady in an apartment that he ran into and fell on the floor and began to call on the Lord. She had a hearing impairment, but she told us, "Your son was calling on the Lord." She was just afraid because she didn't know him. And the police officer began to shout at him and let him know who he was. And he pulled his taser gun and aimed it at KC. And at that point, he says, KC jumped up from the floor and said, "Whoa, what up, what up?" as he showed his hands. And he said, "I didn't do anything." And the officer at that point tased him. And I believe he tasered him to death because he had several taser marks on him. Taser marks on his back, taser marks on both shoulders, taser mark on his lower abdomen. A young 13-year-old girl said she was on the second floor and she saw the police officers jerk my son out of the car by his feet, two of them, and body slammed him to the ground. And she said she heard his head as it bounced off the pavement, and with that, he ceased to move. And in her view, she says she feels like that's what killed my son. My son had no weapon, nothing to defend himself. His hands were handcuffed behind his back when they snatched him from the police car. He was helpless to defend himself at that point.
Okay, I just want to take a moment to point out some key points. At the beginning of the crime incident, we noticed that we didn't get a phone call from the police station. We didn't get a phone call from the hospital or anyone of authority to let us know that our brother had passed. The phone call was from a family friend to let us know that some events had occurred. When we got to the hospital, they still acted as though they had no idea what was really going on. They offered no answers and no support and told us constantly that they would get back with us. It was only through our own efforts and our own investigative skills that we were able to find answers. Every person that was interviewed said that my brother asked the police to offer him help, to stop, to give him water because he was thirsty. He begged for his life, but they continued to dishonor his request.
While he was on the ground, one police had his foot on him, one had his knee in his back, and they hog-tied him while he was yet handcuffed. This is unmerciful. This is not the way you treat a human being that needs help, and he's asking for help, and you are treating him so cruelly. Now we are asking the public to help us to get something done.
I'm not gonna say much. All I want to say is I watched my mom and my dad serve God for, I know they served over 42 years, and during my brief time, I know they've been faithful. My dad honorably served this country for 22 years. I can't really speak long and be decent, so I'll just be short. We just want somebody to help us get justice. That's it. That's all we want. Somebody to help us get justice. These are good people. My brother had a big heart. He was a great person. We just want somebody to help us.
I like to say also that we tried to get help from several lawyers. They have turned us down. And some, I believe, have been paid off by the police department. And we are asking someone to come forward and help us find justice.
Casey left behind a legacy. Many came to the funeral with talks about how he inspired them to go further, to keep going, and how wise he was, and that it was almost unbelievable the gifts and talents that he shared. His legacy will go on, but what we need now is justice. He left behind children that need justice for their father. He left behind a mother and a father who also need justice. He left behind siblings who would like to see justice. So if you're out there and there's something that you can do to help this family, please help us to find justice for Kevin Darius Campbell's sake.
We thank you very much for your attention to this situation. Our son was a loving father and a friend to many, and we need your help. A firm law firm that want to see justice in these United States, please help us.